Hey mate, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I've got Glen with me, Glen McMaster, and we're going to talk about a few things. Mate, you've done a fair bit of stuff in life, travelled a fair bit, but work's been a big part of your world. Is that right?
It is.
So tell us about your work life. What do you do?
So for me, I've been in the landscape construction industry for the last 17 odd years.
Yep.
Working for a commercial landscape company, Greater West Landscapes.
Yep.
Started when I was 18 out of school, and I'm 37 and still going now.
Now, one of the things about you though is that work's been a big part of your life, but it's not the only part of your life. And I've got actually something that I want to read to Glen now. It's Romans chapter 12 verse 2. It says, don't copy the behaviour and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you'll learn to know God's will for you, His good, pleasing and perfect will. What does that mean?
For me,
Yeah.
it's living a life of purpose.
Yep.
And it's living a life to honour God and to use the gifts and abilities that He's given me. So what my friends, my family, work colleagues might say is the right way to live, it doesn't necessarily for me mean that's the way I should live.
But you're good at work though. You're really good at work. Just you like working and you're good at working. How's it different for you? How do you see work then?
I see within work that God has given me gifts and abilities, and He's put a call on my life to honour God, honour Him and His kingdom with the gifts and abilities I've got. So for me, that is in the workplace. That's as a business leader, that's training and developing staff, it's raising money to resource God's kingdom work.
Yep.
So when I'm at work, I'm not just seeing plants in the ground or moving dirt. I'm seeing this as a means to develop people, to share the good news and to be able to raise resources for God's kingdom work.
And many of us have been amazingly blessed because of that. But I also drive past your house and you're always working. So you're always working on your house. You're always building something or creating something. Why is that? What makes you work so much? What makes you enjoy it so much? And I know you're not a workaholic, but yeah.
Great question. I guess it's the way that God's wired me in my nature, and for me, it's giving 110% to everything that I put my mind, my heart, my body into. So whether it's at work, at church, in my relationships, at home, I just try and give everything 110%. To be the best person I can be, and to, through all these different activities, hopefully represent God and His kingdom work to the best of my ability.
One of the things I'll say about Glen, he's got this is a bit of a life verse that I just read out for Glen. But this, you do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, be transformed by the way you think, all that sort of stuff. What makes you just don't do what everybody else does. You have a different guide. You don't look around and say, I want to do, you don't copy, you actually initiate. What is that? And I know it's God, I know, Why do you have so much initiative and try things? And
I think I've learned that we're each called to run our own race.
Okay.
And my race is different to your race, is different to someone else's race. So to not be conformed to the patterns of the world, what everyone else would say is the right thing to do. Some people would say, don't invest in that, do invest in that, don't do this, don't do that, big house, little house. For me, it's about recognising how God's made me, who I am in Him, and then to the best of my ability, living for Him in that way. And that is different. And that gets pushed back, and you give away money and people say, why'd you do that? You help this person over here and people say, why are you doing that?
But we
run our own race, and we're accountable to God at the end of the day for the life we live. And I don't want to get to heaven and be before God and realise that I hadn't given 110% and I'd missed all these opportunities. So I'm going to run my own race and I'm going to be accountable to God for it.
So He's your audience.
He's the one who matters.
Yeah. Mate, awesome to talk to you. I love the 110%. And Christianity's not boring, is it?
It's not boring.
Here's somebody who's grabbed their faith, grabbed God with both hands and 110%. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.